I'm Larry Hendrick of the Magnum Life, located at themagnumlife.com. This video of the Magnum Life is to give you an update on the Garmin Nuvi that I've now had for 1 year, minus a couple of weeks, I think. And also to give you my first impressions on the Google Motorola Android navigation device and how it works. I'm on Highway 83, probably about 15 miles south of Paducah, Texas. 83 is a highway that runs all the way from Brownsville, Texas, which is all the way to the bottom of the state, all the way to the Canadian border. Kind of an interesting road to travel, lots of sights. Pretty quick I'll be popping out on the top of the Cap Rock, as it's referred to here, as you climb and climb and climb, and once you get to about that 3,200 foot above sea level area, you pop out on top, and that's what you're more typically used to seeing in the Texas Panhandle, meaning flat with nothing on it. Well, the Garmin Nuvi is a year old and is still one of my essential tools. I find myself putting it on the dash almost every time I get into the car. It's still extremely helpful finding shortcuts or little cut-throughs that I didn't even know existed. It still, does a good job of locating those. It continually and daily, as even before, helps me locate a place to eat as I'm traveling around different places that I'm not familiar with throughout the state of Texas. Also, I do want to give an update on the traffic subscription. I was a little uncertain how it worked, I think the last video that I did, and since then the subscription that was a trial subscription did run out. It was for 90 days, I believe. And when I started researching on the Garmin website what it was going to cost to renew that, the price was indeed $70, but that is for a lifetime subscription, not per year. So only one time do you have to pay the $70. I didn't have to think twice about doing that because it has saved my bacon a couple of times by not running me up into a huge traffic jam in either San Antonio or Austin in particular is where it's helped me the most. The device still works just like it's supposed to. The turn-by-turn navigation is flawless. Down in the valley, the Rio Grande Valley, it does have a few mistakes. It wants you to exit off of, for instance, Highway 83, or it wants you to take exit US 83, except you're on US 83. When you get closer, it does tell you a side road, so it clears it up where you know where you're going, but sometimes it just uses the wrong terminology, cause you to exit it off of the road or onto the road you're actually already on. A little strange there. Map flaw. I don't even know how you'd go about correcting that. But the only place I've really noticed it to be a problem is in the valley. I would still recommend the unit to anyone who is interested in a portable navigation device, a P&D, that you can take in different vehicles. This thing is portable. My son was going on a trip recently, asked if he could borrow the unit. Not a problem. Just unplug the power from the cigarette lighter. All he has to do is take the rest of the unit, snap it on his dash or windshield, or even set it on a console, plug it in, enter where you're going, and it's just good to go. So I do like the portability that affords. It can run in my car, it can go into my wife's car, or I can even loan it to my son. The Motorola Droid, running Android version 2.0, it's actually been updated now, comes with Google Navigation. That has since been ported to the 1.6. I'm not sure about 1.5, but it's slick. So why am I still running my Garmin Nuvi? Well, several reasons. Battery life being the main one. I actually had the Motorola Droid for about 3 weeks before remembering that Google navigation was on it. So I turned it on, tried it for some different things. Works really well. The feature with it that I do like is just being able to tell it where you want to go, and it does a pretty good job of translating that to either an address or a building or whatever you need to get to the right location. It's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty good. The turn by turn has been flawless. The verbal, the voice gives you street names and distance to turns just like the Garmin does. It also gives you distance until the turn, all the little pieces that make it handy to use. It has several features that the Garmin doesn't have that I really like. It has a north arrow on the home screen, so it always shows you which way north is from that home screen. The Garmin doesn't do that when you've got it in the 3D mode. If you put it over on the always north mode, obviously it's always north, but then your car is going whatever direction you're going. This just is unobtrusive. It's just a little arrowed compass point that shows which direction it's going. So that's kind of handy. It is, however, missing a couple of items that the Garmin has that I think are essential, and that is the one that tells me exactly what the speed limit is on the road that I'm on and my estimated arrival time. They're continuing to tweak this with a couple of updates, and so I think that pretty soon it's going to be on the same level as about anything else that you can get a hold of. Because of how much battery life it takes up when it kicks in the navigation, the GPS unit, that's the reason I have not used it on a regular basis. I do use it for just quick jaunts to different locations that I can quickly and easily just say where I'm going, and it picks right up and routes me to. With the Garmin, you have to type it in, first the city, then the number of the address, then the street name, then after it locates it, you tell it to go. It's a little slower to get all of that done than it is just to speak where you're going and have that. It's been very handy. I think that anybody would be tickled to death with either of the devices. I could recommend either one without any hesitation as far as having something that's going to tell you where you need to go and help you get there the quickest, easiest way without any difficulties. Well, that's it from me on this video. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them off at either the YouTube video site or at themagnumlife.com. If you've got any questions about the devices or comments, I always look forward to those. You'll notice that I don't even delete the weird, ugly ones that are from people who obviously don't even know what they're talking about. You know, if something was vulgar, I probably would, but that's about it. Communication is good. I'll talk to you all later. Happy motoring.